All right, let's just get right into it. If you're watching this, chances are you're gearing up for one of the toughest but most important certifications out there, the Azure Networking Solutions exam. Look, it's a huge career booster, but it has a reputation for being a real beast. So today, we're going to break down exactly how you can pass it. First, I want to show you a number that kind of puts things into perspective. 50%. That's about the failure rate for this exam on the first try. Yeah, you heard that right. It's basically a coin flip. So this isn't just another test you can cram for. It's a serious challenge.
So, you might be thinking, it's all about memorizing tons of technical details, right? Well, that's part of it. But what's really fascinating is that the biggest reasons people fail aren't just technical. It comes down to two things: test anxiety and just a plain lack of confidence. It's one thing to know the material, but it's a whole other ballgame to perform when you're under the gun.
To give you a taste of why this exam can mess with your head, let's do a little pop quiz. I'm going to throw a few real sample questions at you. Now, don't sweat it if you don't know the answers right away. The point here is just to get a feel for what you're up against. Ready?
Okay, first, a little bit of context for these questions. Everything is based on a case study about a company called Litware Inc. Just picture a typical financial firm. They've got their own on-prem data center, a bunch of branch offices, and they're moving more and more stuff into Azure. Got it? All right, question number 1. Litware needs to give all their on-prem locations access to a storage account, but, and this is the key, they can't expose its public endpoint to the internet. So what's the right tool for the job? Is it A, a service endpoint, B, Azure Front Door, C, a private endpoint, or D, Azure Traffic Manager? This one's all about secure, private connections.
Okay, next question. This is a classic networking setup. You've got 3 virtual networks, and you need to connect VNet 2 and VNet 3, but all their traffic has to pass through VNet 1, which acts like a central hub. To pull this off, you have to pick 2 of these actions. This is where those tricky settings like gateway transit and forwarded traffic can really get you if you're not careful.
And for our last one, this one is all about getting the steps in the right order. You need to get VNet 1 ready for an express route gateway. What do you do first? Do you create the subnet, then the gateway, then link the circuit? Or maybe you create the gateway first, or link the circuit first. You know, with Azure, doing things in the wrong sequence just means it's not going to work. Simple as that.
So, feeling the heat a little? Those questions are tough, right? They really show you that just reading a book or watching videos isn't going to cut it. It really comes down to this idea. The best way to learn is by actually doing. You need to get in there and practice in an environment that feels just like the real thing. That's how you build skill and confidence.
So, how do you do that? How do you practice for something this intense? Well, I found a tool that's built from the ground up to solve this exact problem. It's an online exam simulator from certificationexam.com. So what is this thing exactly? It's a huge practice environment with almost 300 questions that are kept completely up to date. And the best part is, it's designed to hit those 2 big problems we talked about head on. It lowers your anxiety because you get used to the questions, and it builds your confidence because you prove to yourself over and over that you actually know this stuff. And this is what I think is so cool about it. It is not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. You can actually customize your practice sessions to zero in on exactly what you need at that moment. You're totally in control. If you've only got a 30-minute lunch break, you can set the timer for that. If you want to really push yourself, you can crank up the passing score. Or, if you just want a quick review, you can do a mini test with just 10 questions. It really lets you make every single minute of study time count. The simulator has 2 main modes. Think of practice mode as your training gym. It's a no-pressure zone where you can take your time and even see the answers right after you click so you can learn as you go. But then, when you're ready, you switch over to exam mode. That's the main event. It's a full-blown simulation of the real exam, complete with a timer to show you exactly how you'll perform.
Let's be real, we're all busy. Finding a couple of hours to sit down at a computer to study can be almost impossible some days. And that's where this next part is honestly a total game changer. You can study literally anywhere.
They have a companion mobile app called Easy Quiz, and it is brilliant. It means you can do practice questions while you're on the train, waiting in line for coffee, wherever. It even works offline, which is amazing. You get all the same customization features. It's available for both Android and iOS, and get this, the app is totally free.
So, after all that, there's really only one question left. Does it actually work? Well, let's go back to that 50% failure rate we started with. Get ready for this. A staggering 98% of people who use this simulator to prepare end up passing on their very first try. That's not a coin flip anymore. That's pretty much a sure thing.
Look, if you're serious about getting this certification, you've got to be serious about how you prepare. This is how you walk into that testing center feeling calm, cool, and confident. So head on over to certification-exam.com and check it out. Seriously, give yourself the best shot. You can do this.